Robert Quirk, cane farmer on the Tweed in Stotts Creek and president of the New South Wales Cane Growers Tweed Executive. Farming 126 hectares of sugarcane. We have a few cattle as well, only about 20 breeders, and I've been farming here since 1959, so a fair while. No, sugar at the size that I am, it's viable. Prices are fairly good at the moment, and no, we don't need off-farm income. If you're any smaller, you do, and there's quite a few people have an off-farm income, but at 126 hectares, I can make a good living. You'd need to be growing about 5,000 tonnes, probably 150 acres would be minimum. Farming in the Tweed Valley, especially on the floodplain, has changed a lot in the last 50 years. We've gone from a very meagre sort of production levels to some of the highest in the world. Most certainly in Australia, there's only the Burdekin that has higher production than New South Wales, and we're doing pretty well. I guess our acid sulphate soil work was the one that brought the techniques that solved the problems with acid sulphate soil discharge, also helped us grow more sugarcane and discharge less acid. So I think it's important, Seb, that we realise that if we were to take the sugarcane off the floodplain now, the good old days of the fish kills would be back. Seb, yes. The short answer is yes. We've developed, not only here, but the Australian sugar industry has developed many practices that have made us very sustainable. I believe most Tweed farmers in particular, and New South Wales in general, are farming to be very sustainable. The practices we've developed here, not only with the acid sulphate soils, but with a little bit of trash retention, only minimum amount of burning. We've increased our soil biota. We now have earthworms on the floodplain, something that was unheard of when I was a kid. Mainly because the pHs were somewhere around about 3 to 4. Now they're high enough to sustain the macrofauna like earthworms. As the earthworms came on the scene, we've also lost our cane grubs. So as the soils become healthier and there's a little bit more fungi, that I think helps suppress the cane grub, and our soil's becoming much more healthy, and we use a whole lot less inputs than we used to. I can only give advice on sugarcane growing because I don't know much about any other industry, but I think the amount of new practices that we've developed over the last 5 years, it doesn't matter if you've been here 50 years farming, it's only the last 5 years that count. So if you do a little bit of research, a little bit of reading, and take notice of those who are successful, and do the practices that have been, just do some reading, and you'll don't go back into grandfather stuff. Just do what is sustainable now and has been developed in the last 5 years. Yes, we do. There's a whole lot of committees of the cane growers that support one another. We've got the combined rural industries that support the rural industries as well. And Seb, I think the main thing that we do here that's a little bit unique is share equipment. We do a lot of sharing of equipment. We have a lot of little cooperatives. The farmers actually own the mill, we own the refinery, or half the refinery, we own part of the cogen plants. We own our farms, we own the harvesters, we own, it just goes on and on and on right back down. So, and I've had the opportunity to speak a couple of times in China, and I say to the Chinese at the university that socialism really works if it's done by capitalists. And
that's right.
we're all capitalists, but we just share everything. And it's been very, very successful. And it's a model that Queenslanders come and look at, people from all over the world come and look at. Cooperatives don't work in a lot of countries because there's no trust. Here we have a lot of trust, and we share. We don't share equipment that has an engine, but we share everything else. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you need a big piece of machinery to do some work, then yeah, it's the only way you can afford to do it. Yes, we believe we're here for the long term. I think there was an article in the paper in North Queensland back in 1924 when they said all the farmers are getting old, the industry's finished, no one's coming back on. That was 90 years ago. We've still got the same problem. We're still dealing with it. I think there's a model in Louisiana that we looked at when we were over there, where there's a lot of leasing, either through the sugar mill and secondary lease to farmers, or just straight out leased by farmers. I think the corporate farmer was something I opposed for a long time. Now I think it can work. I might look old, but I'm no, I don't feel old. Put it that way, I might be old, but I don't feel old. I reckon I've got another 10 years at least farming. I think one of the things that we're going to look at, and it's once again the Louisiana model, where the family can keep the farm in their name, in the title, in perpetuity, and someone farms it for them. And I think there's going to be a lot more of that. People just don't want to sell. The family wants to keep the farm, and someone will farm it and do a good job for them. Whereas they don't have to retire from a very successful career to come back on the farm and struggle. Whereas we need regulation, I think it's important that farmers need to be given a little bit of leeway and not be, hammered too hard for. We test a lot of chemicals to see if we can use less, and that's legal to start with. You must use it according to the label, but it'd be really nice to have the ability to be able to reduce the amount of chemicals you use without being against the law.